That dirty green energy. Can you hear Finney? He didn't like green energy because he knows it's not green. All right, I've been wanting to do this for a while, so let's knock this out because this is, look at this. Solar array. That ain't going to do crap. All right, so this is from Issues and Insights. Big fan, long time, first time. While governments from Washington westward to California are forcing vaccinations on Americans, don't forget that policymakers want to do much the same with renewable energy. But renewables aren't the unalloyed good that we're told. They have nasty downsides. The forms of energy accepted by activists as renewable or green are restricted to wind and solar. Absolutely. While both are renewable and are intermittent, therefore unreliable, neither is truly green. Solar power, we're going to talk about solar solely. It depends on photovoltaic panels, which are these guys right here, which convert sunlight to electricity. Those panels, indispensable to the process, are where solar power's green reputation breaks down. To start with, solar panels have a lifespan of about 25 to 30 years. So at some point, they become trash. For the record, powering the world with solar energy would require more than 51 billion panels, which would take up more than 115,000 square miles, a parcel of land larger than Arizona. And again, that's only going to power for 25 to 30 years. Why? Because they're not forever. And so are we going to be able to get enough energy from 51 billion panels to mine for the silicon? No, of course not. All right, so remember, we need 51 billion panels to power the world. There are nearly 1.5 million panels right now in the lower 48. And what do we do with them? Solar panels are recyclable, technically, but the process in which materials are separated can be tedious and requires advanced machinery. Interesting. Says CED Green Tech, which means energy will be burned to extract the components in order to recycle them. You got to burn something to do the recycling. How do you create the burning mechanism? Consequently, most dead solar panels, which are in fact considered hazardous, end up in landfills, which isn't green at all, since the Greens despise landfills. According to Joel S. Holmes, who has experience as an alternative energy engineer and has the misfortune to work with solar electric panels occasionally, we should expect there to be literally mountains of solar panels in the waste stream, which will create mountains of toxins, as solar panels are simply toxic metals embedded in glass. Yeah. He also points out in the Lid blog that the land in which they were placed is no longer suitable for agriculture or for people to live on. Toxins from the panels, he says, and the associated mechanical and electrical equipment will have leached into the soil for 25 years. Thus, when more farmland is needed to grow food, the massive areas covered by solar panels are not a candidate. So you're saying I can't grow here? No, you can't grow there. All right, so let's keep going. And solar farms do eat up the land. They need 450 times more ground than nuclear plants, and about 100 times as much as generating stations fueled by natural gas. Solar energy's green cred is actually ruined long before the facilities are built and panels become trash. Making solar electric panels produces more CO2 than the panel will ever save. Hallelujah. That's my only thing. Tell me how many solar panels we need to generate one solar panel from scratch. More solar panels, making an electric solar panel produces more CO2 than will ever be saved from from solar. And it's a sort of truth that the solar electric panels are made in China. Made in factories using huge amounts of high heat production. And these are powered by coal-fired electric generating plants. Solar electric panels are basically created by fossil fuels, and as mentioned, their preparation produces more CO2 than they will ever save. Shocking. Scrapping up raw materials for green energy is another dark corner politicians avoid. For instance, mining for silver, indium, and the rare earths needed to make solar panels and other renewable associated hardware is dirtily, ecologically destructive, consumes a significant amount of hydrocarbon energy. Hydrocarbon energy, what is that? Fossil fuels. And then there's the glass, steel, and concrete needed to build the solar farms. They require about 15 times more than those materials of gas-powered plants. We now live in a world where political enemies accuse each other of telling the big lie to make points, but we're not sure there's a bigger lie out there than the one that says renewable energy is a path to a cleaner environment. I could not agree more. So let's see what kind of comments we have. Again, I haven't refreshed this, but I can't remember if I comment on this. Solar, and there's Matthew, solar and wind power stations in this country operate optimally on average about 15 to 35% of the time. That's not 100%, man. That's why they're intermittent. Yep, exactly. This guy's on a planning commission, and solar companies are swooping in here in my county. And Stuart says I might be able to help. Read the book Apocalypse Never by Michael Schellenberger. I said, no, just read the book Hot Air. I think I did quote. Sustainable Energy Without the Hot Air by David McKay. Let's see. All right, here. We're not supposed to use logical arguments and facts when we're confronted with liberal idiocy and the panic over purely invented phenomenon. For those who claim that global warming is caused or exacerbated by mankind, you should look at the greenhouse contributions of volcanic activity and stop ignoring that the Earth is currently enjoying an interglacial period, but the warming temperatures are great for panicking. And then this guy says, where did you earn your PhD in climatology? That's what the libs always say. I had a guy on my own YouTube channel when I was mocking Fauci. Actually, let's see if I can't find it. I could have sworn I put here's Bob. He's very upset that people are challenging the woke crowd here. Let me pause real quick. A couple comments. Where did you earn your PhD in climatology? And this guy says, appeal to authority is a logical fallacy. Appeal to authority is what scoundrels do. We know that. Patriotism and appeal to authority. Let's see. So Bob says there's proven assumption that the sun will shine again and the wind will blow again. That means renewable. We're saying they're intermittent, you freaking fool. Intermittent. You can't, if it's intermittent, you don't want to turn on your light and have it intermittently working. You want the freaking circuit to close to provide you the electricity to turn on your light. Read a woke notes post. Yeah, exactly. Even the term renewable energy is a lie. While the sun shines and the wind blows, the process to extract the energy from them is not renewable. Exactly. It's all based on consumables. Yeah, I could not agree more. Bob Apple. Oh, yeah, right here. When you say, for the record, powering the world with solar energy would require more than 51 billion panels, which would take up more than 115,000 square miles. Is this just electricity generation or total energy? So he says powering the world. I'm assuming he's talking about just electricity. I'd like to know, though. But they never talk about that. All right. All right, so let's see. The only green in the left's green agenda is the money. Exactly. The blades from the wind turbines are poisonous materials and cannot be destroyed safely. 100%. So I just want to share with you something here. So here's my man Gary Gauber, whatever, said, where did you get your medical degree that gives you any credibility to call Dr. Fauci a clown? I said, School of Common Sense. And then Gary says, that's what's called talking out of your butt. And I said, just like Fauci. Anyway, look at this, guys. It's always about the degrees, the appeal to authority. Authority would never lie. Authority knows everything. I find that those guys are frightening. Not only are those guys not that bright, but the appeal, like, I'm not that bright, but I trust the science. Well, what's the science? Whatever political agenda it suits you is what it is. Frightening. But anyway, there's no such thing as clean energy. Just FYI. All right, we'll see you.